Hello and welcome to Brumbies TV, where we discuss all the latest news and views of the Super Rugby. This week I chatted to Joe Tamani, and Josh Manray and Andrew Smith joined us in the studio. Here at Brumbies headquarters with Joe Tamani. Thanks for joining us on Brumbies TV.
No worries at all.
So what have you been getting up to on the bye week?
Not too much, just a little bit of training. Just trying to keep the body ticking over, but mainly just trying to recover from the tough 6 weeks that we've had. Just trying to get over some niggling injuries and that. So
nice.
Yeah, it's been a good break. But really looking forward to just getting back into it with the boys.
You've had the good break, which is awesome. How are you feeling in the next half of the season?
Yeah, look, it's I'm feeling really refreshed now. You know, as I was saying, I just had a little bit of time to get over some niggling injuries. We got a really tough block of rugby now before our next bye, so it'd be good to just string a few good performances now.
Awesome, and you've also got another break from when you guys have a loss to the Chiefs. What do you feel you learned from that match? I
think, what I learnt was, it takes 80 minutes to win a game, especially against a quality side like the Chiefs. Mental errors really just let us down that game. That we'd be hot in attack, putting some good phases and tack together, then we turn it over and, quick as that, they score and we're under our goalpost waiting for them to kick conversion. So I think, we really need to get rid of those mental errors out of our game and yeah, so we got a good chance now to show that we've improved in that against no quality side in the Tars.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you learned a lot from the match there. Now, we will talk about the Waratahs match coming up on Saturday, but for now, let's watch some of the match highlights from the latest round of Super Rugby.
A late try to the Crusaders stole a 1-point win over the Force in Perth. It was the Western Force's first game after a horror tour of New Zealand, and the Crusaders look set to continue the nightmare. The visiting Crusaders held onto a slim lead into the second half, despite some poor decision-making. The Force took a late advantage with this try to Ryan Lorenz. But the Crusaders scratched their way into attacking territory to win 20 points to 19. The Sunwolves have had a number of close losses this year, but the Stormers made light work of the competition newcomers in Newlands. 6 players shared 7 tries as the Stormers ran to a 27-point lead in the first half.
They're chasing. Will they get him now? The captain is in.
The Japanese outfit didn't cross until late in the first half, but never looked in the game, despite a couple of impressive individual displays.
The ball, brilliant. Stunning try.
The onslaught continued deep into the match. Young fly half Jean-Luc Duplessis closing out the 46-19 win.
Controlled as well. Jean-Luc Duplessis on the bounce of the ball. He's into the corner.
Some interesting results there. Now, in other news, your beloved team, the UD North Owls, off and running, did really well in the start of the season.
Yeah, so excited. They got a good win against West on the weekend, so very happy with that. I'm sure Bernie will be filthy.
How do you think they're going to go in the John Ident Cup?
Look, I'm not sure. I mean, hopefully they can string a couple more wins, and make the finals. That's obviously the ultimate goal.
Nice. So you got the big match this weekend against Waratahs. I'm going to be there cheering for you guys.
Awesome.
How are you feeling going into it?
Yeah, look, everyone's feeling really refreshed from the week off. But we got a long, hard week of prep now because they're a quality side as well. And we're both teams are looking to stamp the authority in the Australian conference. So hopefully we do enough to get one over them and take out the series because we beat them at home. So
yeah,
they're a different beast up in Sydney though. So
nice. Well, a few weeks ago you got a try at GIO Stadium against the Tars. Do you reckon you get 2 out of 2 this time?
I hope so. That's the plan. As a winger, you always feel good scoring tries. So I'll definitely be looking forward to it. But most importantly, I'm looking for the win. And making sure that I contribute as much as I can to the team winning.
I'm pretty certain it's going to be a win there. Can't wait to watch the match.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us here on Brumbies TV.
Thanks for having me.
The Queensland Reds had their first win of 2016, hanging on to upset the second-placed Highlanders in Brisbane. Wallabies forward Liam Gill returned from injury for the clash and led the way for the home side, crossing in the second minute. The stars of the Reds stood out, with Nick Frisbee the next to score for the home side. Samu Karevi had a blinder for Queensland, playing a hand in all three of his side's first half 5-pointers. The Highlanders were never going to lie down though. The New Zealanders stormed home from a 26-point deficit, closing the gap to 1 point with this stunning effort. The Reds would hold on 28 points to 27. The Lions travelled to Durban for one of two South African derbies this weekend, and the Sharks couldn't keep up with the Lions' backline. The Sharks asked the question about this try awarded to Lionel Mapo late in the first half.
Is that hold? Try awarded.
But their attack had few answers for the men from Johannesburg, the Lions outscoring the hosts 2 tries to none. Meanwhile, in Port Elizabeth, the Southern Kings had an outing to forget. Everything seemed to go the Bulls' way in this clash. But the Bulls made their own luck as well, slicing gaps in the Kings' defence at will. The Bulls played part of the game with just 13 men after 2 yellow cards were handed out just before half-time. Despite having the advantage in numbers, the Kings couldn't find the white line, and the Bulls continued to pile on the points. The Bulls are now second in the Africa Conference with the 38 points to 6 victory. In the other 2 games over the weekend, the Chiefs continued their winning form over the Blues, and the Hurricanes smashed the Jaguars in Wellington.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't mind. It's a bit of quiet time in the car, but myself and the family are really enjoying it out there on the property, so yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah, it's been really easy, to be honest. Not much has really changed from where I left. We've sort of had the same squad together for probably a good 4 years now, and we've sort of been building for this year, so not too much has changed. A few things sort of structurally in the way we play the game. We like to be a bit more attacking now, but things have been really easy to settle in, and the guys have been great, which has been good.
Oh, I wouldn't say a machine, but it's on the back of them all, so it's not just myself. It's 8 other fellas helping me out there. So, but it's good to get over the white line.
I think he scored back-to-back games at one stage during the year, so he certainly let us know about it. That's for sure, because it doesn't happen too often. So it was a big moment for him, that's for sure. It's getting there. It's been a bit niggly and it's been quite slow, but I'm hoping to be back playing any week now, and just got to get on top of it. So, yeah, hopefully any game now I'll be back.
Don't you know I'm home?
I didn't actually support the Brumbies growing up. I grew up in a regional town in New South Wales, and I was a bit of a Waratahs supporter until I came down here and developed the hate for the Tars, that is. I originally started playing my rugby at school in Sydney, and then I went on to Sydney University, and then I got an opportunity for a Tier 2 contract down in Canberra. And I knew it wasn't much, but it only took me 6 months to get a full-time contract after that. So ever since then, Brumbies have been my home. It was very exciting. I think when I first started down here, I couldn't really believe what I was doing, and then I kind of found my feet, and it really took off from there. It was like 2 degrees in Canberra, 2011 against the Rebels. I came on off the bench for 17 minutes, and it was the fastest game I'd ever played. It was an amazing experience. I'd been dreaming about that for a while. I'd been training for 5 or 6 years to get to that point, and to finally get that go and run out there and be part of the team was an amazing experience. In my opinion, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd be playing rugby if I wasn't doing it professionally, so to be able to do it at this level and to be able to do what we do day in, day out is a dream come true for me.
We know it's going to be very tough up there. Waratahs are always very hard at home, and we always have close encounters, so we're expecting a very tough game. They've sort of been improving every game since we played them at home, so they're getting a few good players back. I know Foley's back. Yeah, they're going to be really tough, so we'll have to be playing the full 80 minutes and be at our very best.
I don't know. The whole team's pretty good. They got a good forward pack. Their back line's pretty sharp. Izzy Folau, you know. Yeah, if you focus too much on one person, you get beat in other areas. So, yeah, pretty much the whole team you got to make sure you're looking out for.
Gee, tough question. We never hope anyone gets injured, so we've got a few young guys, though, that are probably pushing their claims at the moment. Halfback Joe Power, who's playing, he's been going really well. Nick Juice is a young guy who's come across from Perth, who's a super talented player, and he's going to have a chance at some stage. They're probably the guys from the backs that are looking really good, and they've been training really well, so hopefully they have a good impact soon. That's one thing that's good in the squad, like everyone has to be ready in that because an injury can happen any time. So, you know, like just before in the force with Andrew here, you know, guys had to come in pretty much on game day, so we're pretty lucky. They're pretty professional, that sort of thing, so they're ready to go. Hopefully, you know, we're playing well and we can cement that #1 spot in the conference, and then after that, they can fight that out.
Let's have a look at how the teams match up ahead of round 8. The South East Australian Derby has seen 28 games, and the Tars have the upper hand. In Sydney, the home side has won 13 of the 15 games played. The last meeting was in March this year, when the Brumbies had a convincing win in Canberra. The key matchup this week is the fast men Joe Tamani and Reece Robinson, both former rugby league players. The Waratahs are keeping in contact with the best teams in the competition, but they've only had the one look at a team from outside the Australian Conference in 7 rounds. In other games this week, the Crusaders host the Argentinians, and the Rebels have a big test against the Hurricanes. On Saturday, the Cheetahs host the Sunwolves, and the Sharks are over in New Zealand. The round wraps up on Sunday with the Reds looking to back up their first win of the season in South Africa, and the Stormers play the Lions.
I think probably Fards walks around and complains a lot, like just throughout the change room through the game, whether it's the weather, the ref, maybe his socks didn't fit properly, I don't know, but yeah, it seems to always be Fards.
Savita always stealing my towels, so I'm left with some pretty wet towels to dry myself off with.
As I say, Joey Bow.
What does he do?
Oh, just everything he does.
Joey Powell again, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just being around, like, I don't know what it is, eh? Honestly, every time it's just...
Tommy Staniforth. Just stay out of his way, he's a hurricane in there.
Sam Carter,
Oh, actually, sorry, I'll take that back. Tom Staniforth, his locker is an absolute, it's very grubby.
Scott Fardy for sure. He's always in the way, messy, a grub, can't clean up after himself. Yeah, he's just absolutely shocking.
Round 1 of the John Ident Cup was a split round. Defending premiers Royals took on Queanbeyan in a rematch of their 2016 preliminary final. Royal skipper Ben Johnston started the new season the way he finished 2015, crossing for their first points of the afternoon. Royals extended their lead from the boot of fly half Pedro Rolando off the back of a penalty. But Queanbeyan stayed within striking distance, booting several penalty goals before Niori Ndruku crashed over next to the uprights, taking the Whites to an 8-point lead at the break. Royals lost their skipper Ben Johnston to a head knock just before half-time. The Whites took momentum into the second half, crossing first. Royals had a lot of the possession but couldn't find a path to the line. Brumbies forward Michael Wells joined the Whites for the game and came off the bench, making a big impact in the final 20 minutes. On the other side of the fence, fellow Brumbie Lausi Taliauli helped set up a late try for Royals, Harry Tyson finding himself on the end of this impressive long-range try, which kept the home side in the game. With the score 23-15, Royals needed more than a converted try to close the margin. Queanbeyan would seal the game with a piece of luck though. Queanbeyan outside centre Lani Teatia had sticky hands, latching onto an intercept late in the game. The final score 30 points to 15.